And we go on and go on and go on. And now, as you know me, dear audience, Hans Ulrich Obrist is so much dear to my heart. I can't tell you. I learned so many things from him. He is the one who brings us so much joy and so much insights and enlightenment to DLD. He is from the beginning on our art curator, our inspirator, our philosopher, our intellectual, our conscious, and our creativity agent. Hans Ulrich, thank you for being such a wonderful, reliable friend to DLD. I'm listening to you with all my heart, and I'm so happy that the next three sessions will be moderated by you. You know, each of you know, many of you know, that it's a real integral part of DLD that we talk about art, music, poetry, storytelling, media. And Hans Ulrich brings two guests right now, which are special. Alexander Kluge and Manthia Diawara. He's a newbie at DLD. And please, Hans Ulrich, start to tell us what's going on. I'm very happy that you three gentlemen are here at the screens. Manthia, welcome to DLD. It's your first time. I hope not the last time. And thanks to Hans Ulrich. Thanks you to you all. We will have a good show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steffi. And thank you so much to Alexander and to Manthia. And as always, it's such an immense pleasure to be at DLD, where amazing new junctions happen. Steffi is the great junction maker who brings us all together. And I'm very happy that today we can bring together again Manthia Diawara and Alexander Kluge, because I actually, ever since we presented the film Manthia at the Serpentine and Opera of the World, which was a collaboration where you worked for the first time with Alexander, also with Richard Sennett, an amazing film which melds opera and documentary genres and reflects on the historical relationship of migration and displacement between Africa and Europe. So ever since we showed this film at the Serpentine a couple of years ago, I felt, and I remember you told me about this encounter with Alexander, I felt it would be great to bring you together again to see if maybe more collaborations could happen, because that's what happens very often with these conversations, that they actually do produce reality. And Alexander, maybe we can start with that, because of course, at DLD, we did a panel with you, actually, and Katharina Grosse, and out of that grew a whole body of work the two of you are doing together. And I think you also are going to show us two short films.
Well, you brought us together, you see, and the meaning of the DLD is, to some extent, to bring together art, literature, music, digital media, non-media, that means life itself, experience, and so on. And 2 years ago, at terrestrial DLD, yeah, you brought us together, and Katharina Grosse promised to make pieces of art together with me, and now we have about 90 minutes film, yeah, and quite a lot of other pieces. She made 4 stages for me for opera. You can project into these stages, yeah, film, and we should have a look at it. See, wenn Sie einmal spielen können, 4 Bühnen.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for showing us these films. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about this collaboration with Katharina?
Well, you saw the 4 stages. One looks like a curtain, yeah. The other like a diva, like Maria Callas and her cloth, yeah, very slender, yeah. And then the third one is more technical, yeah. And then a big stage, yeah, on a crane, eine Scherenkranbühne, an industrial product, and everything you put on it, yeah, will change the perspective. If you put Medea, for instance, a woman 4,000 years ago, yeah, if you put Medea on it, yeah, or a film of yours, Manthia, yeah, coming 1,000 years ago, yeah, not the film, but the music, yeah, the opera. Then you use this, and the second part, Baby, Open Your Eyes, very old English song. Yeah? This has to do with a atopic cinema, she calls it. Yeah, it's an object, and so she makes tools. I fill it with films. I make films on her work. Yeah, and this is cooperation, and we should have as much for European and African and global public sphere. Yeah, that's what the world needs now.
And that, of course, brings us to you, Manthia, and to the amazing project I mentioned initially, which also has to do with opera, a very Glissantian project. You and I met through Edouard Glissant, and I think the idea of an opera of the world, as you explained to me, is very inspired by Glissant. It's bringing together also of worlds and disciplines. It's, as Alexander said, has to do, the world right now needs these many different alliances and collaborations. You worked with Richard Sennett, with Alexander, with Fatou Diome, with Nicole Lapierre. Can you tell us a little bit about an opera of the world? Because I think it's fascinating. It is the first time also you and Alexander work together.
Right. Thank you, Hans Ulrich. First, what I really liked about the clip, of course, in the abstract, 2-3 minute clip, is the way the abstractions actually are trying to tell us the human history, the human, which in many ways has been under threat by capitalism, under threat by technology, today by AI, and the human is still resisting. In fact, people are talking about transcending the human, the post-human, but the human is still resisting. And my relation with Africa, beside being African, is that I see Africa as this area where humanity resists these technologies and this capitalism. That's what I loved about the short sequence. So I wanted Alexander to help me with the opera of the world, to tell the African story that could actually tell the human histories of Europe from the Greek to today. And he was, to me, the only person who was capable of doing this. How, I can hear my history in his history, and he can hear my history, his history in my history. And he was very helpful.
Some years ago, about 800 years before our time, we have been, all our ancestors have been 18,000 people in Africa. And there was a catastrophe. And by chance, they would not have survived, but they survived. And we are coming, therefore, all we are coming from Africa. And now we have a new world, a world in change. And it is very necessary that we combine all our forces, all our human forces. And I think this needs a public sphere of a special kind, which combines science, art, literature, language, knowledge, but emotion, everything. The consequences as the following generations.
Right.
Everything has to be combined, to put together, to come into Reibung. What, Hans Ulrich, how do you translate Reibung?
There's a tension that sort of rubs against each other.
And friction, learning from errors, digging errors to make them, to try to find out the reality, the verity, which is in all errors. And all this, we can do only together. And therefore DLD is such a good institution. Not once this year, twice. Once digitally, later in the summer perhaps, or in April, terrestrial. And I think it is of enormous importance. And Mr. Boda, and he is a believer in a renaissance. You have to repeat renaissance, in every century. And in this century especially.
What I like about this is that that we are all in this together. But beyond that, well, first of all, I love what you say about the arts, music, literature, the opera, and how they are always, whether they are coming from a primordial moment, they are all pointing toward the future before we even realize the future. The poem has the echo of the past, but it's also looking at the future, the music and so on. So I love this. But what are the challenge that you put in here? We collaborate, of course, but you are also asking us to renew our sense of aesthetic toward the world. Because the old aesthetics have already defined, our positions, power relations, capitalism, and all these things. We need new aesthetics, and through music and culture, we need to renew these new aesthetics, whether it is toward the ecology or it is toward just protecting the living. Because Glissant used to say that the most important thing is le vivant, that which is alive, and technology today is trying to really disembody that which is alive. So the body, the pleasure of the body, the pain of the body, we need to figure out how our art can keep all these things. So when you talk about tension, that's what you were making me think of.
And also, Manthia, you mentioned in your aesthetics, and in a previous conversation, you talked about also an aesthetics of solidarity. And of course, this idea of that we can only by bringing together, by coming together, actually address this ecological crisis, this extinction crisis. And that brings us very much what Alexander said, you know, the bringing together of science, of art, of lived experience, I think brings us also very much to what you're doing now, because you're now, an important part of your time, you're based in Senegal, and you work on a new film, but the film actually will produce reality. The film will produce an association. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think it connects very much to what Alexander said.
You are referring to something that I took from Edouard Glissant. This is an aesthetic of the land. The idea that there is a solidarity between all the lands. You know, landscape, he has this wonderful statement about transparency. Because of the overdevelopment, we want everything to be consumable. Everything has to be transparent and not complicated, rational, and so on. And Glissant said, transparency is the country of people who have no landscape. We need land. We need landscape. We need le paysage. You know, so we need land. We need to identify with land. We need to tremble with land. One of the things that I'm doing, well, just about a week ago, the village in which I have built my house in Senegal, they have this dust. The wind comes and blows, and people can see each other beyond 1 meter, basically. Now, that same wind blows all the way to Guadeloupe, where I was a month ago, and it blows all the way to Miami, where, you know, you can see on television. So if without an aesthetic of solidarity between those lands, to see those lands just as autonomous, what happened here today is going to happen in another place at another time. This is why Glissant, who does not like politics at all, he said, I will fight for the politics of the ecology. So the film is really a general way of doing this. And on the human, there is also another film that Hans Ulrich actually helped me do with the Gluon Foundation. They have, I wanted to connect AI, artificial intelligence, and African possession rituals. Because the possession rituals also predict the future and help people in the tensions, in the neurotic issues. So I'm saying, instead of artificial intelligence just throwing Africans miles ahead, maybe artificial intelligence should collaborate with these possession rituals to protect the human.
Thank you so much, Manthia. And I know this conversation needs to go on for longer, so I hope this is the beginning of much longer conversations also, and new collaborations between the two of you. I know, Alexander, and maybe we could wrap it up with that you wanted to talk also maybe in terms of bringing together science, art, living experience. You wanted to talk about this idea of the new European Bauhaus?
Well, there is an idea, and an impulse, that we need a new Bauhaus, Bauhaus for this century, not so rational and geometrically, as a historical Bauhaus, a European, a global, and European African Bauhaus, to rebuild our lives, to have structures, not the architectures only of houses, or of landscapes, or of streets, but also of our souls, or our subjective being, of our inner establishment, and of our emotions, our thinking, and so on, And this we can do together. And our conversation with Obrist and with you, Manthia, yeah, should be the new start, yeah, for cooperation, for practical cooperation. And the modernist point is where best of mathematics, best of science, which is at the same time a poetical question, yeah, to explain the stars, the cosmos, yeah, or the quantum physics, yeah. This is rather poetical, yeah, and the arts, yeah, everything which all kind of expression, yeah, is so valuable, yeah, and if one can put it together, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Do we have still 1 minute or 2 minutes?
1 minute, okay, 1 minute, 60 seconds. I'm sorry for this. I feel bad.
Okay, no, it's only the question. We could show a film of, but Hans Ulrich. Do we have enough time for this last film?
Steffi, what do you think?
Yes,
That's a film.
I want to see the film. Let me tell you, the three of you are so young. I love the notion of your enormous curiosity. Imagine AI and African possession rituals, an opera from Katharina Grosse and Alexander Kluge, with amazing images, with amazing music. I wish that I have a little bit of your creativity, of your curiosity, Alexander. You are such a role model for us. But now show us the film. I don't want to talk. I want to get your time for the film. Amazing images, so inspiring and so deep. We should do an extra Alexander Kluge, Manthia Diawara, and Hans Ulrich Obrist DLD. Really, I mean it. We should do something together. We should much more talk to each other. It's so inspirational. And I bet you, my dear tech friends, open your mind and open your heads to this kind of poetry, to this kind of art. It brings you along. It brings you further in your journey. Thank you for this. Thank you for this great show. Thank you.
Very much. I really enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks. See you.